What's going on, everybody? Back here again. We got our special guest today, Zele, and she was in season 3, episode 8 as Councilperson Robert. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Levi. How are you?
Pretty well. So, what made you want to get involved with acting?
Oh, gee, this is a long one. So my journey's about 40 years. I started out taking ballet classes, as I think almost every little girl does.
Yeah.
And that led to me wanting to go into musical theater. And I went to university and all that stuff. And from there, I was in stage management and teaching for a while. And then about 10 years ago, I got into TV and film. So I basically enjoy working with people and collaborating together.
Yeah. So, what was the point where you, really found out this is what you wanted to do?
Funny you should ask this question. I did a movie called Teachers back in Columbus, Ohio, because that's where I grew up. And
Yeah.
Ralph Macchio was actually in it, Laura Dern and
Wow.
Nick Nolte. So that's why it's funny you asked that. And it was on that film as a background extra that I realized that that's what I really wanted to do.
Yeah. So, what was your audition process like for Cobra Kai?
So here in Atlanta, what happens is that your agent submits you for different roles. The casting directors of that particular series invite you to audition as a self tape. And that's it. My agent submitted me. I got a self tape, submitted it for Councilperson Roberts, and then a couple days later, I found out I booked it.
Yeah, so what was the energy like in there, because there was like a ton of extras as well as, what was going on in that scene.
So logistically speaking, as you saw, there's a lot of people, and they had booked that space up until 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So we worked very fast, but calm at the same time. It was very
Yeah.
focused. Everybody was really focused. The extras were great. They were on the ball. As you know, the whole team was on the ball. So we just kind of got in and just worked it through. And we were there till like 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Yeah, so for your scene, a lot of the, actors, they interact with a couple of casts, but you interacted, with pretty much the majority of the cast. What was that like?
It was a long day in terms of I had to be very focused. So in terms
Yeah.
of energy wise, I was exhausted by the end of the day. But the entire group, Ralph Macchio, Will Zabka, Martin Cove, Mary, Holo, Courtney, I hope I said their names right.
Yeah, you
They
did.
were so down to earth and welcoming. So that took off a lot of pressure. And it made it very easy.
Yeah. So, I assume yours was filmed in 2019, because that's when most of season 3 was filmed. Were you concerned about it, coming out? Because, it's such a big gap.
No, because it has such a following
Yeah.
that I knew that if it didn't come out on you, I knew that it was probably going to come out on YouTube. And when YouTube decided that they weren't renewing anything, that they were going in a different direction and nothing to do with karate Cobra Kai itself. I was a little worried until I found out that Netflix was picking it up.
Yeah.
I
So,
jumped for joy when Netflix picked it up.
yeah, what was that like, because I mean, I was a YouTube fan. No one really knew about the show. And then, it hits Netflix and everybody's talking about it. It's the biggest show in the world.
It exploded. People that I didn't even know who loved Karate Kid as kids just were like, "Oh my god, oh my god!"
Yeah.
So they had a great time with it. Uh,
Yeah.
it was exciting. But I couldn't say anything because you
Oh, yeah.
sign an
NDAs.
NDA.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I had friends reaching out to me, going, "Were you council person? How dare you tell the Valley kids that they can't have karate?"
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
great to get the feedback. That was really fun.
Yeah.
What
So,
was really cool, sorry to interrupt, what was really cool is when you go to Netflix and you go to
yeah.
you go to the show, the first screenshot is of those three sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, I was sitting there. Yeah. That's awesome.
They're standing there staring at me because, and I know that they're looking at me. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah. So you worked on the Irresistible. Did you actually get to work with Steve Carell on that?
He was there that day on set, but no, my scene was not with him.
Yeah. So what is your favorite project that you've got to be a part of so far?
Gosh, there have been so many for different reasons. So Kobrakai was really cool because I got to work with actors that I grew up with.
Yeah.
Ralph Macchio and Will Zabka were like the heartthrobs, teen beat cover guys when I was
Yeah.
in high school. So that was really cool to work with them as adults. Irresistible was amazing because it was the first film that Jon Stewart ever directed.
Yeah.
So that energy was really cool. Getting to work with Ron Howard and Amy Adams and Hillbilly Elegy. I mean,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, Ron Howard.
Yeah.
That
Ron
was
Howard,
really
legend.
amazing. And Amy
Yeah.
Adams. And seeing Glenn Close, that was pretty cool. So it's hard to say anything in specific. I've been really lucky here, having moved to Atlanta, that each experience has just been, I've been very lucky. It's been great on every set.
Yeah. What was it like to work on Black Lightning?
Now, Black Lightning was one of the first productions to start after COVID.
Yeah.
So it was really nice. They were very nice and welcoming, but it was so restrictive due to wearing masks and shields, and I
Yeah.
really couldn't talk to them. And there was hardly anybody on set. So that was weird, but nothing to do with Black Night Lightning. It had to do with COVID protocols. And
Yeah.
that's been the weirdest thing with the COVID protocols. I don't know if you've talked to other actors, but
Yeah. I have, yeah.
it's been weird.
Yeah, so yeah, speaking of that, what is some of the biggest difference in things, that are now having to be implemented because, we got this pandemic going on?
It's very lonely.
Yeah.
You're basically you get tested at least 3 times to 4 times before you even get to set. They basically, they don't say it, but it's wise for you to self-isolate.
Yeah.
Some productions have you check on an app every day and take your temperature. When you go to set, they do a test and you stay in your trailer until you test negative. So you
Yeah.
have no contact with anyone. Masks everywhere, shields for the actors, and there's someone that collects masks and shields between takes.
Yeah, so what was the pretty much about a year. I don't know. So you're an Atlanta actor, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So with the film industry shut down, during the pandemic, what was that like?
Um, Very isolating and scary because it was so quiet and dead, like
Yeah.
for everything. There were some a little bit of commercial auditions, but it was pretty quiet for me at least until like, and things would filter in every so often.
Yeah.
But it was October that, excuse me, sorry, it was September that started things started picking up for us.
Yeah.
And it's the same way. Everybody self tapes as before. We no longer have in person auditions for callbacks. It used to be for callbacks, you might have in person. Now there's Zoom.
Yeah.
You have Zoom auditions, Zoom callbacks, and you either book it or you don't.
Yeah. So, what was it like to work on Mall Cop?
Oh, that was gosh, that was a long time. That was 2008. So that was
Yeah.
my first feature. Kevin James is really nice guy.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors. Some people have said that he's kind of standoffish. He isn't. He's just shy.
Yeah.
That was a really fun shoot. I was very scared and nervous because it was my first time on set on a big project like that. And
Yeah.
it went really well. We did that scene, that one sequence where you see us hugging each other and wrestling and all that. We
Yeah.
did it in one take.
Yeah.
So that was fun. That was cool.
Yeah. So, do you ever have like any, aspirations to be maybe like a director or a writer as well?
I'm not a good writer. I tried.
Yeah.
So I have great respect for writers. I enjoy being in front of the camera because I spent so many years being in production because I used to
Yeah.
be a stage manager and a teacher. Um, right now, no, I really love the acting. I don't know if in the future something happens and I give them the opportunity to direct. I may do it. Why not? What
Yeah.
about you? Are you an actor?
Actually am in the process of getting into it. So yeah, not
Cool.
technically. Yeah.
Where are you based out of? I thought I saw South Carolina or North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah. So
Okay. You guys have a lot of film stuff going on now.
yeah, there's a lot of short films around here right now. So yeah.
Where are you in North Carolina?
Probably about 30 minutes from Greensboro and about an hour from Charlotte. And Charlotte's about where most of everything's shot. So
Outer Banks was shooting in Wilmington.
yeah. Yeah, they shoot in
Was it
Wilmington.
Outer Banks? No,
Yeah.
sorry. No, I think Outer Banks. Wait a second. I got him confused. I think Outer Banks was in South Carolina.
Yeah, it's in South Carolina, but it's supposed to be North Carolina, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. You have another show that I'm not allowed to say the name that's filming in North Carolina and Wilmington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
For fun.
yeah, what was it like filming the Christmas movie Saving Santa Land you were in? Because I assume it wasn't during Christmas time. Was it weird trying to kind of act like, it's a Christmas, type of time of the year at a totally different part of the year?
It was actually John Schneider's in it and Corbin Bernstein, and we filmed it May 2019. You know
Yeah.
what happens when they decorate the set and it's Christmassy, except for the weather, it feels like Christmas. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? So when
Yeah.
you walk into a set and they have all these Christmas decorations and they're playing Christmas carols and all that, you can get in the mood. Set really helped. So no, it wasn't difficult, and that was also fun. We did my thing in like a minute, 2 minutes, and
Yeah.
we were done.
Yeah. So what's your dream role? Like it could be any type of genre or just a type of movie or show.
Um, I like comedy. I tend to
Yeah.
be really good at comedy. I'm comfortable with it. I would love to do, let's say, an ensemble like a Modern Family,
Yeah.
ensemble comedic role on a show, kind of like a Modern Family, family oriented show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So yeah.
that would be that would be wonderful to have that opportunity.
Yeah, so speaking about Ron Howard, yeah, what was it like to work with a legend like him?
Ron Howard is amazing.
Yeah,
What was really cool was when I went in for my callback, he got up out of his because they sit behind a desk. They hit, sorry, not a desk, a table.
yeah,
So the camera, oh, that's right, you're not here. So let's say, for example, the camera is this light and they're sitting over here and you're doing your audition this way. He
yeah,
got up, walked around, came up and introduced himself to me. And he goes, "Hey, I'm Ron. What's your name, Zele? Well, nice to meet you, Zele. I'm doing this movie."
yeah. It's like, yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah, yeah. And do this little movie and he tells you a little bit and then he sits back down and then he has his reader do it.
Yeah,
And he's really cool to work with. He knows what he wants. He tells you like it is.
yeah,
And it was wonderful. Again, I've been very, very lucky, Levi. Every
yeah,
show I've been on, it's been a very good experience. I've heard horror stories. I've been very lucky.
yeah, yeah. So, who is somebody that you haven't worked with yet that you would love to work with in the future?
Oh, okay. Spike Lee.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyone from the Marvel universe.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
British actors. I'd be thrilled to work with, gosh, all of them.
Yeah,
Let's see. I would love to work with Elizabeth Perkins. I'm trying to think out loud. That you got J.J. Abrams,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Aaron Sorkin, Shonda Rhimes. Notice that I talk about writers and producers.
Yeah,
Um, George Clooney.
yeah, yeah,
Who else
absolutely.
have I missed in terms of big producers and directors?
Yeah,
The Coen brothers.
yeah.
I mean, my list,
goes on and on and on.
yeah, I mean, just to have the
Yeah.
chance to work with these people because they're just really, they've done some really neat stuff. Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
How about
So,
you? Who would you love to work with? It's not going to
uh,
be all about me answering your questions. Ha ha.
yeah. Well, I mean, obviously anybody on Cobra Kai. I mean, that's the. But it'd be great to work with people like Kevin James,
Yeah.
for sure. Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell, just Gabriel Iglesias, people like that, just
Yeah, yeah. Will Ferrell, yes, yes. And by the way, all three of the guys, Martin Cove, Will Jabka, and Ralph Macchio, they're really nice, down to earth guys. Like
yeah,
they're the
I
type
met
of
them.
what?
Yeah, I met those three a few years back. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah. They're really cool. They're nice.
Yeah, so when it comes to acting, what is your being an actress or actor, what is your favorite part about, being able to do it?
I think it's when you're on set or on stage and you're with the other actor and you have this really cool synergy and it's in sync.
Yeah.
And you both know that the scene is going really well. Does that make sense? There's a
Yeah,
flow.
absolutely.
And it's the same thing like in sports when the play goes really well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're an athlete.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So it's like there's this energy flow when things are in sync and it's really cool.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, so which do you prefer? Do you like doing movies more or like doing like TV shows, or which do you prefer?
I don't have a preference because they're each like TV is a faster pace sometimes.
Yeah.
And with film, you get to play a little bit more, but I like both just to
Yeah.
work in this industry is just to be able to do what you love and get paid is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So
And
for Cobra Kai, was all that script or did you improvise at all, or yeah.
it was pretty scripted.
Yeah.
Maybe in the beginning with the older gentleman, there was a little bit, but for the most part, it was all
Yeah.
scripted. And it
You
had
know,
to be spot on because they were taking so many angles of all of us. So they
yeah.
had to be able to match us.
Yeah, so for that scene, was that shot in like an actual like auditorium, or did they just have like a little sound stage set built up?
No, we they booked an actual auditorium and
Yeah.
an actual city council place.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean we were there like at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. No, my call time was 6 a.m. and they booked it until 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Do you remember like if did the big three change anything up throughout that day about the scene, or was everything pretty much just the same?
No, it was again, it had to be pretty consistent because they had to match everything. So if they took Ralph Macchio's close up, he had to pretty much be the same anytime that they got him from any angle for those
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah. For that episode, if you can remember, did you get just the sides or did you get the full episode of the script?
I don't remember
Yeah, I know it's
because
been.
I shot it November 2019.
Yeah.
I think I only got no, I only got the sides.
Yeah.
I didn't get the whole episode. And as that character, I don't know anything because if you remember that scene, I don't know what the big deal about karate is.
Yeah, you just think it's something, that a big school fight, like what the heck's going on type of thing.
So I wouldn't know about these people or their lives anyway. So I really didn't need to know anything. Now,
Yeah.
if it's a different role where you know the people, that's a whole different story. But
Yeah.
in my case, I only needed that scene. It was standalone.
Yeah. So what was your favorite part about getting to work on Cobra Kai?
um, telling him to shut up and sit down.
Yeah.
She had to hold me back because I would like give him these looks like, you know what, guy, come on, behave yourself. Now
Yeah,
stop it,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
but it was funny to watch them get in trouble and kind of sit down and be
Yeah.
and they have such a good relationship, the three of them together. They have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You could tell they've been working together for a while and they all respect each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your advice for, anyone wanting to get into this industry, whether it's acting, directing, writing, anything in that area?
Take classes as an actor.
Yeah.
You need the training. A lot of people think that you don't need training. Do the training and get involved, do student films, do whatever you can to learn the industry and the art to see if it's something you really enjoy.
Yeah. I just want to thank you for coming on today. It was great to be able to speak with you.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.